I'd like to welcome everyone to our Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, May 14, 2018. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin with our regular business. We'll begin with a review of the minutes of the April 19, 2018 Commission meeting with any comments or corrections. Anything from any commissioners? All right, we'll proceed with a review of the memorandum of warrants for the period of April 13, 2018 through May 9, 2018. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for the period stated, the memorandum of warrants was $1,979,528.99.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on that? All right, I'm going to pause for just a second and make sure we recognize some of the elected officials who are with us tonight. We recognize Mayor Johnny Hammock from Tallahassee. We appreciate you being here with us. We have two probate judges here with us. We have Judge John Ensland from Elmore County and Judge Al Booth from Autauga County. We appreciate all of you being here tonight, as well as everyone else who's in attendance with us. We'll proceed now with our new business. We will invite probate Judge John Ensland to come up to the podium and address the Commission regarding competitive bids on software management.
Thank you for allowing me to be on your agenda tonight. I'm thankful to be first, too. I want to share with you and the people who are here tonight an update on an outstanding Elmore County government success story. Over the past 16 months, through April of this year, not including May, our internet sales of copies of public records has brought in a total of $53,241. That's for the sale of the same number of copies. So just think about this. When you sell a copy of a document over the internet, we don't have to furnish a computer to view the document, a printer, ink, paper, an employee to make the copy, utilities for the machine or the office to house the machine or the employee. We don't have to do the accounting work for collecting, receiving, and distributing the money, and we don't pay anything for the website creation or the website hosting. There's no overhead of any type and no expenses to the general fund in the collection of these monies. I think I could draw an analogy here. It's almost like getting a check for sales taxes based on internet sales. As y'all know, that's happening now, and it's like Amazon.com and other companies are starting to pay money, and the county gets a pro rata part of that. And all we have to do is just deposit the check, and we're gonna do away with that by putting it on automatic deposit, so we won't have anything involved in collecting these monies. They're gradually increasing over time. We used a substantial amount of the funds to upgrade the elections equipment here in Elmore County. Puts us right at the top of the state and didn't have to use any general funds for that. Now I want to change stations on you just a little bit. We're like going from ESPN to the SEC channel, so it's not a major change. With these accumulated funds and more that are coming, and with some other probate office discretionary funds, and with some already budgeted funds in our current budget, I want to dramatically upgrade the probate court operations by implementing a modern software management system, which will also include e-filing of court documents, just like it's done in all district courts and circuit courts now, and is also already done in the probate courts of Jefferson, Mobile, and Shelby counties. This will poise us for the future growth that is inevitable in our county anyway. The system that we need is probably going to cost about $110,000. Some of which, maybe about a third of it, that can be paid over time. So why am I even here tonight if we're not going to use any general funds for this? Well, the law requires that we seek competitive bids on a project of this nature. And so I'm here tonight just to get your permission to competitively bid it, even though the initial purchase and installation of the entire system will be paid for without any general funds that you manage. So I'm not asking for any new general funds. I'm not asking for you to amend the current budget. I'm just asking you to let me bid this with reserving the right to reject any and all bids. And I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that any of you have.
On my part, Judge, I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
All
Judge,
right.
assuming this goes through with the competitive bid process, at what point do you anticipate the software being in place, and will there be, will the anticipated company be able to provide the training that your staff may need to implement this?
Those are good questions. I don't know how long the bid process will take. Richie does this regularly. About how long will that be?
It'll probably take you about 6 weeks to get through everything, because you usually have about 3 to 4 weeks of advertising, then you have to bring it back to meeting for award of a contract and all.
I'd say within a week after it's awarded, then we'll start the process. It will take about 3 months to train the employees, and we only have 3 employees in the whole probate court system, to train those 3 on how to use it. The bid specs will require them to stick with us until we get the job done, and I suspect by the end of the year we ought to be fully functional on it. Say at least starting in 15 days before I leave, it ought to be operational. That's the plan. Before I leave, we want to have it fully operational.
Great.
Did
Thank you.
cover all of that? There was
Yes.
2 or 3 questions.
I appreciate it. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much, Judge. Now, prior to inviting the next person up, I do want to acknowledge the absence of our fellow commissioner, Commissioner Mac Daughtry. He called me earlier today. He has recently had surgery and is still recovering, so we are definitely praying for a quick recovery on that. I failed to mention that earlier, so forgive me for that. We'll now invite Miss Mary Beth Mansupply from Mansupply Law Firm to come up to the podium to address the Commission regarding opioid litigation.
Good evening, Commissioners. Together with Wilson Blunt, we're here to talk to you about representing Elmore County Commission and Elmore County in suing all the opioid manufacturers, distributors, and pill mill doctors who have been convicted or who have pled guilty for the damages caused by their... If you will read these long articles, you will be shocked. I realize they're long, and it's, some of your time that it'll take to read it, but you'll just be shocked to know that publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar corporations would engage in this kind of behavior. And when I first learned about it, I was shocked too. But anyway, I wanted to tell you that, like the probate judge, we're going to do the type of thing where we will do a lot of work for you. We'll advance all the expenses. We'll do all the work, and you don't have to pay anything. And we will make some money for you. So doesn't that sound good? Doesn't everyone want to be involved in that? But the way we want to do it is we want to file right here in state court with a state court jury. We'll put in a pill mill doctor so they can't haul us off to federal court. And can you imagine having a witness, I guess the witness that's right here in this courtroom, and maybe the bailiff and the court reporter over there. Can you imagine having a multi-billion-dollar billionaire, one of the 400 richest men in the world, sitting there and showing him a document that's an email from him saying, we want to addict as many people as possible who have good insurance or have workers' comp coverage. Can you imagine what that jury's going to think? They're going to go, that's how they made their billions of dollars, and they've lied to us about these things being addictive, and that's exactly what's going on. Anyway, I've got a short summary, and then I've got my recommendation where I did the BT claim for the city of Mobile. And the BT claim I did for the city of Mobile was not through the BT class action. You know, everybody wanted to be in the class action, or they thought they did, and you just couldn't. I represented a lot of businesses over my years. You could not talk them out of it. They wanted to be in the class action, so most of them I put in the class action. I had 151 businesses not in the class action, got a total of about $12 million for them. I had 2 that were not in the class that we sued BP directly, and we got $10 million for 2. So that'll give you a difference in the kind of return you get between a state court, or even in the BP case, it was only federal jurisdiction, so we had to sue them in federal court. But you just get a much bigger return because you're not just one big lump sum being divided up between however many plaintiffs there are. In this case, you've already got Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, all different counties in New York, and they're all going to be ahead of you. And one of the lawyers who started the class action, and Mike Moore, he did the tobacco class action. He started this one. He admitted to me. He said, "Well, sure, the little guys are going to get the short end of the stick on this class action. There's no doubt." He said, "But boy, that's going to be a lot of work suing those opioid companies." I was like, "Well, that's what I do. I work. I'm a lawyer. I work for a living." So we're ready to do the lot of work and get a jury right there in that jury box and have them give you justice, not some judge up in Ohio who's trying to figure out the best justice he can figure out for 10,000 entities by the time it's through.
Thank you. Any of my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions? Or Mr. Courtney, do you have any?
No, thank you very much for coming. That does give us a different side of the litigation. Certainly a stark difference between the state court and the federal court. What would your fee be?
Our fees would be a third. You'll find some of the people who are going to put you in the class action are going to charge you less because there is a whole lot less work to do. So they can charge a lot less. But as Mayor Simpson said in Mobile, he got questioned about we charged a third of that when we sued BP and other people were getting 15% in the class. He said, well, the county got $2 million and they got 85% of that, and we got $7 million and got 66% of that. Which one would you rather have? So you need to think about which one you'd rather have. There's no doubt you could get a better verdict and quicker through the state court trial.
All right, thank you very much. Anything else?
Yeah, just one question. You charge a third, but do you charge any other expenses related to you trying the case?
Well, I advance all the expenses, and at the end, if we recover, I pay myself back for what I've advanced.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we would like to invite Ms. Walls to come up to the podium. If you'll just come over here and yes, that's fine. You can just cut through, whatever's more convenient there. All right. If you have handouts, you can come and hand those here, and then you can...
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
When you
hear the air kick on, just lean over a little bit closer to the microphone.
Okay.
I think we all are glad the air kicks on, but it is a little loud.
Good evening. My name is Sadia Walls. I'm here today with my husband as well, Ira Walls. We have we're starting a Walls Veterans Outreach Development Program incorporation, and we're trying to implement the youth with athletics, education, and leadership roles. And I want to open up the door so that I can invite my husband in to speak about the organization, if you all don't mind.
Again, good evening, everybody. First, I want to thank y'all for allowing us to come out and with this presentation thanks for the county and the county commission and staff. With that being said, again, I'm gonna piggyback off this is my lovely wife, Sadia Walls, and we have a Walls Veterans Outreach Development Incorporation. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that we're trying to introduce and bring back to the community to help out through the youth. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna introduce myself. I'm actually a Elmore County resident. I was born and raised here in Wetumpka, graduated back in 2001 from Wetumpka High School. I went straight in the military after that, served 8 years in the U.S. Navy, got injured and ended up early retirement out of that. Went to use my MGI bill, went back and forth to school to get more higher education, and with that, I ended up working for Sears as an HVAC repair technician and also a small appliance repair. And as you know, Sears kind of went a little down, so after that, I ended up going into a small business for myself, and here providing the same service here in Elmore County and surrounding county area. Okay, that's just a little bit about me, and like I said, me and my wife, we've been working tireless and diligently to get this program up and running. We have already been expedited and already been proactive in it already. It's a summer youth after school program here local in the Elmore County area. We have been getting assistance from the Board of Education, which we have a facility that we are occupying and using to activate these programs that we are providing. It consists of 3 programs: athleticism, which helps to fight obesity in the youth; teamwork, sponsorship, and camaraderie amongst the youth. Another program it consists of is leadership, mentoring, role model, and efficacy amongst the youth. And the last but not least part of the program, the most important, is the educational, which consists of grade development, which we're going to have qualified teachers come in to help out with grades and the youth with their education. We got ASVAB for future youth that want to decide to go into the military. Then also SATs. We gonna have professionals come in and help out with SATs to properly prepare the kids for college and whatnot that they see for it, that they need to help out in the community with. So with that being said, our mission statement, it is our focus to ensure that our youth obtain leadership and character development skills, strive to be lifetime pupils in the classroom, and ultimately become outstanding individuals within our association and in the community. Our most important focus is to supply the youth with emphasis on education, fun, safety, and participation, because everything that we do is for the betterment of our youth and our community. Okay. Now I would like to bring in these are some of my supporters that's already been involved. They have been spearheading, and like I said, we've been working diligently and hard work. We've been doing it pretty much on our own. So we're coming here to ask for some help, help from individually, no matter if it's leadership, some more ideas, or some more ownership to what we can do to help out and provide and get everybody together, start from the youth and on up, okay? Yes, sir.
He asked me to speak, if you don't mind. My name is Dr. Paul. I work very closely with him. I'm formerly of the Governor's Office, Planning and Budget Management Review, Georgia Department of Industry and Trade, and also the manager for Fulton, Atlanta, Georgia Office of Economic Development. In the city, we have worked diligently in 2003 with Ms. Walls and working with the youth, the gang members and all, and turning their lives around, some of them in college and doing many other things. These young folks here, we have worked with them also in the past, and look at them now. God can do anything except fail, and that's what we look at. We put in front of you 4 things that are essential. I'm a Vietnam era veteran, we're all veterans. We can serve our countries here as well. We're trained to kill, but not trained to live. So we're trying to change that concept. So in front of you, we have 4 documents that are important, as Mr. Walls have already outlined. One is the after-school summer educational enhancement and mentoring program, which, as you all know, any time it's after school when school is not in. 80% of the child time is spent away after school. So we're trying to find a way to fill that void during the summer months. So with that, the Walls have created and have the gym that they are working in that capacity to change their lives and be mentors and having them go in a positive direction to cut crime and many other factors. If you would, the first handout, page 3, if you would, we have a curriculum as it's outlined, page 4. It will give you a general curriculum which they will be implementing and bringing in different forms of expertise and make it a productive, useful, and conducive experience for these young kids where they go on to college and do many meaningful things instead of being incarcerated. And here we have an outline of some of the things, and we know they're going to be a very successful program. And once schools start up, they're going to have the UEAP program, which is called the United Evening Education Enhancement Program, to aid these kids with their homework while the parents may be at work. The second handout that we have is for the veterans. We have a facility with 60 beds, as we call them MIA, Missing in America. As a Vietnam veteran, I fully understand. But we want to change some of the ways, and we want to get involved back with society. So with that, this profile that Mr. Wall is working with as a veteran as well, we have put this together, and I'm also been a resident of Wetumpka and lived in this county. But what we like to do is implement these programs to help the citizens and also help you. All these individuals being incarcerated don't have a place to go. We have a facility with 60 beds, and that we can house these individuals. We are asking the county, well, before we do that, let's go one other. The Walls are also working with nonprofits all over. The next handout, number 3. They have a seminar and workshop planned for the 27th of this month at 4 p.m. to educate and find other resources to finance, because we know the county can't do it alone, and we can't do it alone, but we work together in partnership, we can do much more. Last but not least, this is why you're here with John Knight. Some of you know him. He's a war hero with a Silver Star, saving lives on Memorial Day. We invite all of you to come and participate at the facility that Mr. Walls has as the Vice President there in Montgomery. At this particular time, we will salute our dead and heroes that are gone. In addition to that, we will be also celebrating John Knight and many others who are war heroes. So as a veteran, we ask you to help us in our time of need and working along with Mr. Walls, and that we want to make a difference. We want to be useful, we want to be productive and make a difference. We're asking the County Commission to help with the youth program for the summer. We are matching some of the funds as well, $15,000 with the youth program that will house probably 100 kids and work with them throughout the summer. And not only have them in this community, take them elsewhere. We used to take them to Destin, to all different places, to give them a different way of life instead of the type of shoot them up, bang, bang, and so forth. We don't want that anymore. And we feel that it's beneficial as well. Commissioners, we thank you very much, and we just want to say thank you, and we hope that we can get your support. And with the housing, I would like to briefly just introduce you to another veterans who worked here in your city, and that we're trying to do something. Veterans, we can do more than go out there shoot folks. We can come home and do something productive as well. And we hope that we can get your support. So we have 10 beds that we're going to leave for the county in case you have anyone that are homeless. We'll put them up as well. So with that, if you don't mind, just briefly, the other veteran, then we'll turn it back over to Mr. Walls. And thank you very much.
Are you going to speak about the housing part?
No, he already took it care of.
Okay.
I was just going to break down, because I was a station commander here in 2009, 2010, with a station commander of a recruiting center, Army recruiting station. I was actually a supervisor. So I have a little background in Wetumpka. I'm getting ready to retire after 27 years in the service, so I'm looking forward to helping veterans, and that's all I just want to say.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions? So it's my understanding with regards to these two items, these two events that are coming up on the 27th and on the 28th. So those are two events that your organization is either putting on or affiliated with in some way, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
And then the summer programs and the other things are separate from those two events, but those are going to be ongoing programs.
Sir. Correct.
How far reaching in the county are your programs?
Throughout the whole county.
The whole county?
Yes, sir. Throughout the whole county.
Okay.
But the physical location is here in Wetumpka.
Yes, sir. Right across the bridge. The old junior high gym.
Right.
With the help of the Board of Education and Mr. Richard Dennis, they already been moving forward with helping us with the location. And we came in, it was terrible condition though, but we have been up putting it together, and now you can come in and breathe and actually facilitate what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Any other?
Is that where the beds for the homeless is going to be too?
No, sir. That's located in Montgomery.
Okay.
In another facility.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Your sources of funding for your facility here in Elmore County, is that primarily been through private funds, or what are your primary sources of funding?
Fundraisers, private funds, donations, personal, a lot of personal.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing we're going to be seeking out is CDBG when it comes back again, ADECA. We're working with them as well. A conglomerate of different agency, and we're just hoping that the county would take the leadership and help us to get this moving forward. And if we could get your support, it would be deeply appreciated.
We appreciate what you guys are doing for our youth and our veterans.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is this kind of the step in where the boys club used to be, in a sense?
Correct.
To do the same thing? Is that kind of right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It's in the same place, but we're outreaching different angles and
Since
different areas.
it went out of business, y'all were trying to get that after-school program started and all that.
Correct, and then add more, more avenues to it to outreach others.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner, we're just trying to get ready for the summer to start out. So we're trying to just get some seed money, which we have some other funds we're going to be pulling on. And we're trying to ask of the council, the commission, that's why we're asking for $15,000 to get ourselves moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm very impressed with the program myself, and you reaching out to young people, and that's always been my favorite, because that's going to be our future, and we want to make sure that we do the things that need to be done to get the young people where they need to be, and then protecting our country and in and out of our country, and being protected on both ways. I'm a veteran also. I was combat wounded, and then I've been a police officer for 40-something years, and was the chief of the state of Alabama, so I understand, and this is a good program, as long as you keep it all together, and what I was saying, reaching out to, I'm over from the Millbrook, Casada, and Elmore area, and we want to definitely reach out in that area. I think you have success, and maybe talk to Mayor Kelly over there too.
Correct. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Any other?
Thank y'all.
All right, we'll proceed now with discuss reappointing Commissioner Mercer to the ACCA Legislative Committee. I'll just comment, the ACCA Legislative Committee meets regularly leading up to the legislative session, and they provide an opportunity for Elmore County to have a voice in the potential legislation that we support as an association that could benefit Elmore County. Specifically, Commissioner Mercer served on this committee for the last year, and it's my view that he's done an excellent job, and also I think this is one of those things that with time you get more experience and you have an opportunity to understand how the wheels turn, and it provides us with a great representation for the county on the state level. Any other comments or questions?
I appreciate Mr. Mercer's willingness to serve on it.
I do also.
Thank you. We'll proceed now with consider authorizing Sheriff Franklin to execute lease agreement for 3 copiers with Bernie Office Equipment. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the sheriff is in the process of leases ending on these machines, and he wants to go ahead and upgrade before those leases are up, and Bernie is in agreement with that, and we're just asking to be able to allow him to execute leases. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all the leases are at the same or lower cost than what he's paying right now.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed. Consider approving facilities maintenance surplus list and authorized sale through Gov Deals.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is just a cleanup item where we're taking some of our older equipment and materials and trying to surplus those and put that money for the scrap and all into back into the Road and Bridge Fund or the General Fund, whichever the material was purchased out of.
Thank you. All right, proceed. Consider declaring the attached list of Highway Department equipment surplus and approved selling through J.M. Wood Auction Company.
And these items are the same from the Highway Department in terms of our annual rotation of trucks and smaller pieces of equipment. Most of these are attachments to skid steers, things of that nature.
Thank you. All right, proceeding with the items on the consent docket, we have the approval of the proposed plat in Charleston Place, Plat 1, and Redland Ridge, Plat 2. Those are in our packet with the descriptions. Any comments or questions there?
What you got on this Charleston Place, right?
Sir?
The Charleston Place?
Yes, sir, just a proposed plat. You're going to make me look up how many of those lots there are?
Yeah.
Well, I saw earlier, I think there's less than 10.
Yeah,
6 lots.
6 lots?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 lots, and Redland Ridge is
17 on the other one.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
All right, proceeding with the travel memo. And if there's nothing there, we'll proceed with approved request for declaration of emergency illness for Audrey McCord. Approved request for declaration of emergency illness for Lori White. Approved request for declaration of emergency illness for Alma Walker Sims. Approved 40-hour sick leave donation from Stephen Brock to Audrey McCord. Approved 40-hour sick leave donation from Chase Shaw to Audrey McCord. Approved 16-hour sick leave donation from Ann Webb to Lori White. Approved 40-hour sick leave donation from Tatiana Edwards to Lori White. Approved 80 hours sick leave donation from Tatiana Edwards to Alma Walker Sims. Approved 24 hours sick leave donation from Kimberly Frost to Lori White. Proceeding with personnel notifications, notification of promotion of Norman Carlton Jr. from Process Server, Civil Division to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of hire of Austin Carr, Deputy, replace Jay Hall, effective 5/4/18. Notification of promotion of Matthew Eller from Process Server, Civil Division to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of resignation of Jonathan Hall, Deputy, effective 5/4/18. Notification of Finola Morgan, Dispatcher, advancing from Tier 1 to Tier 2 Dispatcher. Notification of promotion of Richard Morgan from Process Server to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of transfer of Michael Marakis, Corrections Officer, to Deputy, replace B. Hicks, effective 5/14/18. Notification of change of status of Cameron Ricks, Corrections Officer, from part-time to full-time, replace M. Marakis, effective 5/7/18. Notification of termination of Alice Bass, Dispatcher, Eclectic, effective 5/8/18. Notification of hire of Angelia Rigsby, Dispatcher, Eclectic, effective 5/15/18. Proceeding through reports to the Commission. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Friday afternoon, Kim received a special event retail alcohol license request for an event called Art on the Lake. It takes place at Children's Harbor, and y'all should have that information in front of you in your packet. And I would ask that you add that to the agenda. The event takes place right after the next Commission meeting, and I don't believe we could get all the necessary steps in place before the event would take place at that next meeting. So,
is there any opposition to us adding that to the business session?
No.
No.
Okay, we'll have that added, Kim.
I think that is their 13th year of doing it as well. I just think their timing was off a little bit. Couple items of update. One reason I wasn't thinking about the subdivisions, Commissioner Reeves, was got a number of items here. Earlier last week, y'all saw a release that we had about Eric Jones being appointed to a national task force for the EMPG funding. He's one of 5 EMA directors that will participate in some conversation with FEMA on how that program is developed for the coming year. I think that's a great honor and a testament to y'all in terms of allowing staff members to be plugged in at the state and national level. Eric also wanted me to make sure y'all knew that this Thursday at Walgreens in Millbrook from 3 to 7, they will have a weather radio programming event. He is waiting for the information from either WSFA or the Midland Radio Company to do the full-blown announcement for that, but he wanted to make sure that was on your radars so you could either attend or make sure the word got out. We will be pushing that out on social media as soon as we get that information. And also from the EMA front, next, May 30th, we're going to have a hurricane exercise here in the county. The current location will be the EOC. That is right before hurricane season officially starts, even though I think we've got a disturbance out in the Gulf of Mexico currently. Eric said that as of today it'll be at the EOC, but if he gets too many more people registered, we'll probably have to move to a bigger location because of the amount of people that want to attend and participate in the exercise. So that's a good issue. We are also in the process of our joint project being underway over in Millbrook with Alabama 14 at the 2 intersections at Kinsley and Grandview Road. We started that last week, and we are trying to get that knocked out. We have several items that we're doing in-house to supplement the cash that the City of Millbrook put into the project to bring a red light to Grandview and 14. So we'll be working diligently on that and being able to process some things with a contractor in the near future. We're also in the process of trying to complete some grade drain and pave work on Mercer Road. That's a project that has been here my entire time in Elmore County. This is the last phase of that road, and Luke is trying to finish what we started back 15 years ago. We're actively working on the census project, just to give you an update on that. You haven't heard a lot about that in the last few months, but Heather Moe has been working diligently on cleaning up the data that gets sent back to the Census Bureau for the actual questionnaires to go out in about another year. And she has got about a month's worth of work left. I'll have to get the specific stats for y'all, but it is an amazing number of addresses and points that has been cleansed and gone through to make sure we've got good addresses to be able to hit everybody possible with that. And I can't stress how important that is, because just about every program that the county commission touches, our cities touch, goes back to those census numbers. And we're going to continue to try to educate people on the importance of that. By the end of this week, first part of next week, we hope to be able to send budget information out to the departments. This will be our preliminary budget information to be able to get their request in. We are also in the process, our county attorney has got the task now of compiling all our personnel policy data and getting that ready for final review, so that is upcoming in the next several months. We are also in the final stages of our job description review and pay plan discussion. We hope to have that discussion prior to sitting back down with the departments and going over their budget requests. That information is coming together nicely, and been in conversation with Commissioner Reeves about the next steps on where to go with those 2 items. Last 2 things, the mower started cutting right away this week. And why is that so important? So the last 6 months I've been doing nothing but cutting brush and doing work orders on the brush side. So several of you had a few calls here and there about right-of-ways and when we're going to get to them. We've already been herbiciding for the last couple months, but this will supplement that, and we'll be cutting from now until about November. So if somebody calls and asks where the mowers are, you can tell them they've started, and if you need an update further than that, just give me a call and I can go from there. The other thing I wanted to report was on our insurance front. We had a very good safety review last week with Meadowbrook Insurance. Meadowbrook will actually be transitioning from a private company to a public corporation that will actually work for the two self-insurance funds over the next, that transition will take place between now and January. We imagine we will see a lot of the same employees that work for Meadowbrook that will be with the new company, but we got very high marks. Jimmy and his staff and all the departments that were under review got a good report. We will still probably get a few miscellaneous comments because we still haven't completely addressed everything in our safety incentive program. That will be taken care of when we address and adopt the personnel policy, but we're making very good progress and very good commentary from the claims adjuster that came and visited with the safety specialists, and want to report that back to you. I hope that not only do we get a safety bonus this year, I hope that in the next year's budget we'll be able to get that safety incentive program as well. Those two will amount to about $8,000 for the county in a refund back if we get both of them. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I had in the way of report. Do y'all have any questions for me?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
And how do we stand in relation to our forecasted budget to our actual expenses?
We're doing very well right now.
Okay. I thought we were.
Yes, sir.
But, so we're not in a deficit situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Byer. We'll proceed with the reports from the Commission. Commissioner Holt.
A couple of things. One, of course, they're gone now, but I appreciate the Walls family coming here and talking about kids and veterans, because that's extremely important in my judgment. I'd rather them be in a situation where they're not on the streets. I'm talking about children. And I appreciate anybody wanting to do that, so I really appreciate what they're trying to do. Another statement I'd like to make before I say something else is I appreciate the good work that the Highway Department's been doing. As I told Luke earlier, they're doing a good job, at least in my district, that I see, and I appreciate that. And I suggest, as I told him today, I went by and saw the men trimming the limbs and told them they're doing a good job. I'm sure all of you guys do the same thing, because I think that means a lot to the employees. So I want to encourage everybody to do that. I also want to say I appreciate everybody being here and listening to what we do and how we do it. I think we conduct things in a professional manner, and I think that's important. And we appreciate any input from any citizens all the time, and we just want you to say what you want us to do, and if we can do it, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll explain why we can't do it, but we appreciate y'all's input very much. The last thing, Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if it needs to come up now or later. I understand we don't have to have 2 meetings in 1 month, and I'd like to see, I think that'll be took care of in the business meeting, to see if we can dispense with the May 24th meeting. Unless we have a lot of things we got to take care of, because that's not 2 weeks away. So I'm not sure at what point I need to make a motion to do that. So I'll leave that up to you, Mr. Chairman.
Would you like that to be on the business session then?
Yes.
Is there anyone in opposition to discussing that during the business session?
No.
Okay. We'll add that.
Okay.
Ms. Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
Thank you, Chairman. As Mr. Byer mentioned earlier, the census will be something we'll be discussing a lot about here real soon. And I want to encourage everyone, when you get that card, please fill it out. There's very, very few things that the census doesn't affect. It affects district lines. It affects it affects the size retail facility that someone may locate in our county. There's just not many things you can't name that some point in time a developer or someone organizing an effort didn't go back and look at some information in that census. So please take that very serious. One thing that we know it directly impacts is the federal dollars that come into our state. If they look at, the number of people that would benefit. So just one more way that, one more reason that we should take that serious. Next thing I had was on May 31st from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the Airport Intermediate School, ALDOT will be holding a public comment meeting, public input meeting concerning a project that they're proposing to do on Highway 14, which will be widening the present road from Casada Parkway to the current four-lane road and a four-lane area of Highway 14 in Millbrook, which of course is just beyond Ingram Road. It's very important that when it comes, I have been to one of these before when they were discussing doing the current project in Elmore, widening of that section of Highway 14, and I'm sure they'll have maps laid out and people there that can answer any questions. So please try to come. The next thing I had, Chairman, was a Crappie Masters tournament that the County Commission and our Elmore County Economic Development Authority was a part of. Took place in Elmore County this weekend. I've spoken with Mr. Byer and a couple other commissioners, and it was very obvious there was a tournament in Elmore County this weekend. We saw these guys all over traveling from one part of the county to the other at our different retail establishments, whether buying fuel or restaurant, hotels. That was the goal, to get these people here and to spend money. Tourism is a big industry in Elmore County, and this commission wants to do what we can to support that. And I'd also like to say I appreciate the kind words and confidence that my fellow commissioners have for me continuing to serve as the Elmore County's representative for the ACCA Legislative Committee. I have enjoyed doing that, and I would appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve in that capacity. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves.
Yes, I just want to say I appreciate everyone being here today. I see we have Mr. Al Buda. I think he's running for District 88, and I think we also have my friend here. He's running for District 31, Senate District 31, and Mr. Vaughn. And we have our mayor from Tallahassee, which is part of my district. I'm glad to have you here, and I'll probably be seeing you on some problems you have in that area. And well, I'm just glad to see everyone here today and to take a part in this commission meeting. And I appreciate the work that Mr. Byers is doing, and also our attorney keeping us in line. On that note, I appreciate working with all the commissioners. That's it.
Thank you. Thank my fellow commissioners for their comments. I would like to echo regarding the census how vital it is that we participate in the census and that we relay that information to our constituents, our friends, neighbors, whoever it may be. We unfortunately live in a day and age where citizens, and maybe for some right reasons, are very skeptical of the government. They're hesitant to participate in things like the census. They're private. They feel like that information, if put out there, may subject them to something in a negative way. And I can understand some of those sentiments, but I'm confident that the census is used for specific purposes, and those purposes are directly related to funding and the assistance that we receive on a county level from the federal government. And it is vital for our numbers to be accurate. I oftentimes hear when I go to meetings in the River region with other elected officials, they comment on the growth in Elmore County and how Elmore County is growing, but our census numbers and some of those numbers don't always reflect the growth that we are obviously seeing. I think we would all agree that we're seeing that growth, but we need the census numbers to reflect that growth so that we are properly assisted for infrastructure and education and all of the other things. As a former school teacher, I was very familiar with the time in the fall where they wanted every student to be at school because that particular day the number of kids that were at school was the number that was turned into the state, which is the number that they received funding for. And that was vital, so that it reflected the true number of students that were in the school system so that we got the proper funding. similarly, the census can have that same impact on Elmore County. I would encourage all of you to look for opportunities this summer to reach out to the youth. We had a great presentation today, but this is the time. It gets hot, they get bored, and they're looking for things to do, and oftentimes the things that manifest themselves to do are not the right ones. So we need to seek opportunities to reach out, to be their friend, be their mentor, and look for opportunities to serve. We'll now proceed with important calendar dates. Ms. Kim?
Pending the business meeting, the Thursday, May 24th is tentatively the next commission meeting. Monday, May 28th, the courthouse will be closed in observance of Memorial Day. The following Monday, June 4th, the courthouse will be closed in observance of Jefferson Davis's birthday. Saturday, June 9th is the next countywide cleanup from 9 to 1 at the locations listed, noting the Cusada Post Office is the rotating location. And June 11th, is their commission meeting is at 5 p.m. with the business meeting following.
All right, thank you. We'll reconvene shortly. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Elmore County Commission business meeting dated Monday, May 14, 2018. I'll call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Mercer to offer the invocation, following which Commissioner Holt will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for giving us a good day today, Father. We thank you for getting us here safely. We thank you for loving us, Father, when sometimes we don't deserve it. We ask that you give us guidance as we make decisions for the county, and hopefully glorify you, Father. Amen.
Amen.
Would y'all stand, please?
All right, Ms. Kim, would you call roll, please?
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry? Chairman Stokes?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
Here.
All right, we'll proceed with the regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the April 19, 2018 Commission meeting as presented during the work session?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stokes?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of April 13, 2018 through May 9, 2018?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stokes?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, we'll proceed with the new business. Is there a motion to approve or deny the cancellation of Thursday, May 24, 2018 Commission meeting?
I'll make
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we move that meeting to the first meeting in June and cancel the one out for the 24th.
All right, so there's a motion to cancel or to approve the cancellation of the May 24 meeting. Is there a second?
Yes, I second it.
Chairman, if I could just comment, Commissioner Holt, I know you just brought this up a minute ago during the work session, but I guess my only concern about canceling it is it would not give Commissioner Daughtry to add to the agenda anything he may have. Have we given any consideration of that? I know he's not here tonight, but just wanted to bring that up.
My suggestion would be if Commissioner Daughtry has anything significant that our chairman contact him and ask him and contact us and see if we need to change our direction within the time frame required by law.
But I think I've been on the commission a long time. I think if we had something pressing right now, in 30 days of when we had the next meeting, it would be still appropriate for Mr. Daughtry to get it in. And I don't see anything pressing right now that would come up in the 28th, unless Mr. Byer, you have anything?
It's obviously difficult to say what Commissioner Daughtry may or may not have with regard to his constituents. We witnessed tonight a situation for a liquor license for the fundraiser event at the lake that came very late in the day or late in the time period, and you know, it's difficult to say what may or may not come up. My comments regarding this, and you know, just is it's difficult to forecast what may or may not come up, and my personal feeling is that we were elected to be here to do the business of the people, and we don't always dictate when the business of the people comes up, but you know, I would hate for us to be in a situation where we miss an opportunity or a need for us to do something. So, but any other comments regarding that? We have a motion by Commissioner Reeves to approve the cancellation, and a second by Commissioner Holt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
No.
Commissioner Mercer?
No.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, so that does not pass. We will have our meeting on May the 24th, and we hope that we'll have a quorum for that meeting. We'll proceed now. Is there a motion to approve or deny a 140 Special Events Retail Liquor License application for Art on the Lake by Red Clay Bar and Event Services, LLC, at 1 Our Children's Highway, Alexander City, Alabama, 35010, for event on May 26, 2018 through May 27, 2018.
Motion to approve.
I second it.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Proceeding, is there a motion to approve or deny the authorizing of probate judge to obtain competitive bids on a software management and software e-filing system for the probate court?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve or deny reappointing Commissioner Mercer to the ACCA Legislative Committee?
I make the motion we appoint him,
Second.
reappoint him.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve authorizing Sheriff Franklin to execute lease agreement for 3 copiers with Bernie Office Equipment?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve facilities maintenance surplus list and authorize sale through GovDeals?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve declaring the attached list of Highway Department equipment surplus and approve selling through J.M. Wood Auction Company?
I make the motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as reads?
Motion to approve consent docket.
I second it.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Personnel notifications. Notification of promotion of Norman Carlton Jr. from Process Server Civil Division to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of hire of Austin Carr, Deputy, replace Jay Hall, effective 5/4/18. Notification of promotion of Matthew Eller from Process Server Civil Division to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of resignation of Jonathan Hall, Deputy, effective 5/4/18. Notification of Finola Morgan, Dispatcher, advancing from Tier 1 to Tier 2 Dispatcher. Notification of promotion of Richard Morgan from Process Server to Deputy, effective 4/22/18. Notification of transfer of Michael Marakis, Corrections Officer, to Deputy, replace B. Hicks, effective 5/14/18. Notification of change of status of Cameron Ricks, Corrections Officer, from part-time to full-time, replace M. Marakis, effective 5/7/18. Notification of termination of Alice Bass, dispatcher eclectic, effective 5/8/18. Notification of hire of Angelia Rigsby, dispatcher eclectic, effective 5/15/18. Any additional reports to the commission?
No, sir.
Mr. Byer? I would like to just quickly comment how impressed I am, and I know my fellow commissioners are the same, with all the individuals donating sick leave to their fellow coworkers. It's very impressive to see the generosity of our employees. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Kim?
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Meeting adjourned.